hand builders. As you come into the studio, you notice this forest of wheels at the front. We don't care at all about that. That's the throwers. Y'all are going to come up to these front tables, and during COVID, I want you to sit no more than 4 at a table. So we need to keep you 3 feet distance. We'll set out clay and stools so that's clear for you. Other things to be aware of. There are lockers under here. You can put your name on a locker. You can put when you're taking the class. You are in 202 hand builders, and then the quarter that you're taking the class. We have 2 types of clay. Porcelain clay is in the blue buckets. Notice that the lids are sometimes white, but the buckets themselves are blue. Porcelain clay goes in blue. We've got the clay bucket with wet clay that you're pulling out of, the clay slurry, which is your water, your throwing water, and the bone dry, which is where stuff that got totally dry and then broke goes. So we won't be working with those at the very start of the quarter. You will be working with stoneware, which is in these buckets, or in your bag of stoneware. We will be moving the clay buckets around the studio. We're trying to allow for 3-foot social distancing, which also explains why the wedging tables are kind of scattered around the studio. There is storage space underneath the work tables, but beware that feet tend to kick there. Better storage space is on the far wall over there across the studio. We'll have blue tape up there that you can put your name on and claim one of those, just like you claim a locker. Tools you need to be aware of. This first set of drawers is for throwers. You mostly don't care about that. We do have hand builder tools here. We have scoring tools of various types. Scoring. We have sticks and knives that are used for various kinds of decoration. And then we have some carving tools of various descriptions, as well as a few odds and ends in this drawer. You do want to be aware of the dry cleaner plastic and large plastic bags, or the plastic grocery bags. This is to keep your small stuff from drying out. This is to keep your big stuff from drying out. You also need to be aware of the sinks. The sinks will have standing water in them once the quarter starts. What we have is a tube here that keeps the sinks from draining. That's on purpose because clay going down the sinks is bad news. These 2 sinks are for stoneware. Only this one is for porcelain. If your hands aren't gloopy and just have a little bit of clay on them, you go all the way to that front sink up there, and that one's the one that can use soap. The rest are for reclaiming our clay. So this is our soap sink. There's also soap sinks, sorry about the spin. There's also soap sinks in the glaze room, which is that dark space that I'm pointing at right now. There are other tools for hand builders over here in a few spots. So we have slip brushes and rubber tip tools up there. We have odds and ends, lots of stamps and sprigs here. Texture rollers and lots of odds and ends here. And then paddles and rolling pins are in this drawer. More plastic sheets down there. Water cups and slump molds and things like that. Slip is in the back. We'll show you that later. Got a slab roller here. We've got a 3D clay printer that's not set up yet. Over here we've got an extruder. And then most of the rest of the stuff you're going to be doing with your own hands and some of the tools I've shown you already. The damp room back here is a room that we keep damp. As I open this up, you're going to hear that the humidifier is running. If you come in and the light's off, the light switch is right here. And then you put your work on these shelves. Make sure the door stays closed. We keep the door closed to keep that space damp. And when you are done with your work, your finished work that hasn't been fired yet, whether it's wet or dry, if you're totally finished, you're going to come put it on a greenware cart. Greenware means it hasn't been fired, and that's going to be bisque fired. This cart and the other one that is labeled greenware go to get fired, and you'll be involved in that process. But be careful, these carts are on wheels, and sometimes we have other carts here. Don't put your work on a glazed cart, because it will get fired incorrectly, or I'll yell at you about it.